Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadatikam. So we are continuing to reading Nectarean Ocean of the Holy Name by His Holiness Sachinandana Swami Maharaj. So now we are discussing the divisions of Namabhas. Unintentional chanting. Chanting on the Namabha stage is characterized first by the deliberate endeavor to chant with full attention and to avoid offenses. However, there are 4 additional ways of chanting which are on an unintentional level. Due to the Lord's mercy, they nevertheless show a certain effect and thus characterized among Namabhas. This demonstrates the united, unlimited power of the holy name and the Lord's strong desire to elevate the conditioned souls and take them back to his abode. First is Sanketya, indirect chanting. This refers to people who chant with a material conception while implying something else. For example, passers-by may say, "Look, Maud, here again are the Hare Krishna people who are like colored spots in our town." Or, "Really, those Krishnas should work." Ajamil called the name of his son Narayana and thus attained liberation. He chanted the holy name, but for a different reason. When a wife says to her husband, "Harry, please pass me the Rama margarine," she thinks of the margarine with the name Rama, but she is still chanting the holy name of Rama. Certainly, this is unintentional chanting, but the holy name is so merciful that Krishna appreciates it as pious activity. Parihasya, chanting jokingly. Once Krishna, Bhima, and Arjuna, disguised as Brahmanas, came to Jarasandha's court asking for charity. But Jarasandha soon realized that his guest was Krishna himself and he joked about him. When seeing the devotees in the street, some passers-by may make a joke and say, "The happy Haris are coming," thus chanting the name of Lord Hari. These are example of parihasa. Then we have stoba, musical entertainment, which is even if one is singing the holy name on stage as a musical performance, his chanting is recognized by Krishna. 4 is Helena, indifference or contempt. This kind of namabhas is sometimes found when devotees are chanting inattentively while performing other activities. It also means to exclaim the holy name as an art of derision. A striking example is Shishupal, who insulted Krishna before the Rajasuya sacrifice. This Krishna is a coward. Learning authorities, however, consider Shishupal's reproaches as indirect glorification of Krishna because besides the intention of deriding him, the Sanskrit words used by Shishupal can be interpreted in a way that praises Krishna. Then we have Shraddha Namabhas, which is faithful chanting. The cause of the 4 additional kinds of Namabhas mentioned above is the lack of real faith in Krishna, which is Shraddha. Shraddha Namabhas, on the other hand, refers to faithful yet not pure chanting. This stage of chanting, although yet covered by anarthas, unwanted desires, establishes Sambandha Gyan. See, this stage of chanting, although yet covered by anarthas, which are the unwanted desires, he establishes Sambandha Gyan. Attraction for the holy name develops, and if one steadily continues to chant, he attains the platform where his anarthas are nullified. Finally, he attains the stage of pure chanting. Namabhas with little offenses. Even chanting with little offenses, aparadhas, is sometimes counted as namabhas and not nama aparadh. Only when the offenses are very severe, they completely extinguish the effects of chanting. As long as one is chanting on the namabha stage, one can further progress on the path of spiritual advancement. As already explained on page 112, there are 4 kinds of aparadhas which really have to be avoided by those who chant namabhas. These are offenses against the holy name, against Krishna himself, against his devotees, and against other living beings. It is very important for a devotee to behave gently, even towards non-devotees. Material attachments, the cause of all offenses, simply disappear by continuing to chant the holy name on the Namabha stage. By continually chanting the holy name, the well-wisher of all, one becomes freed from offenses, even against the holy name itself, quoted in Sri Bhajana Rahasya, Dvitiya Yama Sadhana. So this is I think I'll just summarize here. This section is really talking about Namabhas. So Namabhas is the second stage where it is the clearing stage. Ideally, that is how we know it. The first stage is like Nama Aparad, and then we have Namabhas, and then we have Shuddhanam. So Namabhas is the clearing stage. However, in there also, Maharaj is explaining about the first four where it is, so there are two sections in Namabhas. One is when somebody has faith, and one is without faith. So without faith is the one where we have the four types where it's not even intentional. By accidentally, somebody is taking the name, or maybe jokingly, somebody is taking the name, or somebody is just performing, like musical and performances and stuff like that. Or even it just accidentally things happen. So those are some of the example where it wasn't even intentional, but because the holy name is so powerful, the person gets liberated anyways. And the classic example is Ajamil, where he was intending to call his son Narayana, but because he uttered the name, Vishnu Duttas came and they liberated him. So this is very nicely we can see that, right? I think, and that's the reason. Even when John, oh my gosh, where is that? The Beatles, right? George Harrison also took up this, he did music records and things like that. They were like on top of the record, right? At one point, they were like really, and everybody was humming to Hare Krishna songs and tunes and things like that. So we can only imagine how many souls it may have already, liberated or even taken to the spiritual advancement. So even if we think that some of the things are not that important, or we may think, but any time there is an opportunity to say the holy name, it really impacts. And I was also thinking that that's also the reason, right? Like in Indian culture, if you see, the baby names are mostly always given by either the gods or goddesses, right? Mostly all the names have background behind that, because so whenever we call those names, we are calling Krishna's names, so that's very important, that like even when they go to school and things like that, nobody may even know anything, but just because they are calling the child's name, everybody else also gets that spiritual purification. So many of that happens with that. And then the other part is really about chanting Namabhas with faith, and that's really the place where we should be, right? We should come out of the Nama Aparad stage, where Maharaj explains that for the most part, everybody that is trying to chant is in the Namabhas stage, except for the four major offenses. If we are causing those four major offenses, then definitely we are in the Nama Aparad stage, which is hurting others, right? That's the offenses we are causing to the devotees, causing devotees to Krishna, causing offense to devotees, causing offense to Krishna, or even other living entities. See, that is very important, because especially when we take up this path of bhakti, sometimes we tend to become indifferent towards, those who are not following the path, and we kind of categorize them into a different group, and we think they are lower or whatnot and things like that. So it is very important that we never hurt anybody, because even if they don't follow the path we are following, or even if they have difference in attitude, whatever opinion and things like that, it doesn't matter. We intentionally do not offend anybody, not even any other living entity either. So we just have to be very careful, because those are the things where Krishna will not forgive us. So we just have to encourage everybody on the path of bhakti, no matter what level they are at, no matter where they are at, and then just being very careful of not causing any offenses. We will be in the Namabhas stage. And then slowly, as we keep making effort, like we are doing here also, every morning we are attending, trying to read about the holy name, trying to chant in the morning together with the devotees, So as long as all of these efforts are made, Krishna is definitely going to support our efforts, and then slowly we can then progress towards the holy name, the Shuddha Nam, which is the really the pure form of the holy